The temperature is very, very important. It needs to be consistent. So I make sure that I create a ball, I cut it off, and I just make a hole with my finger. If you want to use the end of your X-Acto knife or a pen or something like that, it'd probably be okay. I don't like it because it cools the sugar off too much. But, you know, Chef and I learn different ways, so I just want to give you all the ways possible. Then you're going to have your tube. Now I'm going to show you how to do this, just how to attach it on here, so you can see that I'm just not attaching it on my pump, which you guys don't have access to. So what I do is I kind of create an even wall all the way around, not making the top too thin. You don't want to make the top too thin because that's going to be the easiest part to blow. I heat this over the lamp. So I'm heating the interior. It's still on, but make sure these are full with fuel. I'm heating the interior, and then I'm going to attach it to my pump. And I want to make sure I don't close up the end where the air comes out. So I attach it on there. Anytime you touch it with your hands, you're going to be cooling it down. So if you don't want to cool it down too much, don't put your hands on it. So you can start directing it early. How you pull it, how you shape it, is the direction on which this is going to go. I'm just going to kind of make a little bit of an elongated fish, if you will. Don't try to make it too thin to start off with. Okay. If I don't want it to blow right here, I'm going to hold this. I can actually cool this surface down because it's blowing on the sides and not the end. So I can cause that to come out. All right. I can also pull it a little bit more. And you have to have this kind of a dryer, if you will. I'm just going to make this a little bit more. If I wanted a wider fish, what I do is I stop it, I pull it from side to side. If I want more of a longer one, I pull it this way. So it depends on the shape of your fish. I'm just giving you just a general shape right now. Okay, let's see here. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this on. You've got to turn it on cold. Now, do you want your fish round? Is it a big fat round fish? Or is it a flat fish? I don't know. Okay? You want more of a front to it? You have to kind of pull that out a little bit in the beginning. Do you want this fatter? Do you want it thinner? Do you want his tail longer? You can make his tail longer. It all depends on what you want. Do you want movement in it? Well, then you move it. Okay? You can make the fish bend. Okay? Again, you have to have this air dryer going that's cooling so we can start cooling it off. I'm not going to make this too fragile. Flatten them out a little bit. You got to keep the air in there. For right now, I would not try to blow fins. You can do a swordfish, sailfish, you can do stuff like that. You're doing something that has a very, very long neck, like Nessie, that has to be pulled out early, just a little bit slower. Always pump. See, I'm pumping with one hand, cooling with the other. Watch when you touch it to the surface is going to be hard. It will break easily. And try to get your indentations out of there, make it smooth. How much body or how fat you want to make it, it's a matter of playing with. So I'm just going to leave it like this. I've got a decent shape, something quick. You guys can spend a whole lot more time with it. I'm going to cool down the whole thing. And you can't set this down. If you set it down and it's not cool, you'll just have a big flat spot. These are actually pet groomers. The company went out of business, and all the sugar people were buying these like crazy, and I don't know why, but they went out of business.
bad. These are great, and they weren't that expensive. Commercial one that I have right now is like $300 and some.
So that's how thin would you say that is right now?
You know, it's not super thin. Bubbles and stuff like that are going to be definitely thinner. This can still support stuff because I want to add fins to it. I'm going to show you that next. You can touch this, you know, this is not so fragile that, you don't want to make it so fragile that you can't work with it. It's not that thin. What's very, very important is how consistent it is all the way through. So what's going to happen is the first time you blow, you're going to have a real thin front. It'll blow real fast, and that'll be almost like transparent. It'll be very, very weak. You don't want that. Nice and consistent temperature. Then get something like aluminum foil, you know, something soft to kind of set it on so you don't break it. So have something that you can set it on so it's not going to break. Because you set it on here, it's shattered. It's really, it'll shatter very, very quickly. I'm going to shut this off, and then I'm going to show you how to get this off of here. Make sure these are filled up with the denatured alcohol, and make sure you're wick. This is the way you actually do this. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. You take it, you turn it upside down, and you soak the wick. See that it was coming out of there? Then just take a paper towel. If you want to grab me a paper towel, please. And then grab me that torch again, too, Darian. So that way you're burning the fuel rather than the wick. Otherwise, you'll just burn the wick up in no time. It'll be like one time and it'll be over with. And then wipe it off. It's not going to explode or anything like that, but you don't want the whole thing lit up at your table again. Okay. And make sure you have clean gloves. Okay, because if you touch this, the reason Chef wears gloves when he's doing this and not the other is because I leave fingerprints. My hands condensate, they sweat. So I actually put gloves on anytime I'm doing any of this finish work. It's not because of the heat, it's because I want to have my finished piece, you know, looking good. You can see I got some shine in there. I actually pulled it before I started blowing it, so I got some shine in here. You can variegate the fish. When you blow it, you can put stripes on it of a different color. You can get real creative. So just kind of have fun with it and see what you can make. Now I'm going to show you how to put some fins. I'll actually do two different fins. I'll show you one technique and then another. And I will show you how to attach, so you can see this. All right, so what I'll do is I'll take this. Now the metal works easier on this part, because all I have to do is heat up the metal tube further down, and I can slide it right off. This one, I've got to be a little bit more patient. But I don't need a gigantic tail either. A lot of fish don't have these long things, but I'm giving myself some room to actually work with this. Okay, then I soften it. And then I'll go ahead and cut this off. I'm not worried that it's completely finished here, so I'm going to deal with that. So, I mean, how long do you want it? I don't know, maybe you want it way back up here. Okay, so pull it out a little bit farther and cut it way back. It's really up to you. It's your design. Remember, they don't have to be perfect fish. They can be whatever it is you want to be. For this, on the metal, again, all you're going to do is heat up the metal. For me, I have to heat this up a lot more. You would heat it way back here and just pull that off, because you'll get the metal nice and hot. Me, I have to heat this back a little bit further. And on these wood ones, I don't use the sharp end, I just use the back of it. And I really don't have to get it super clean, because that little bit of sugar on there actually helps it adhere the next time. Just gonna warm it up. And then I will show you how to attach it to those, because yours are different. It's a little bit different.
Say you're doing an animal with a tail, it's always best to blow it from the tail side, that way you have a nice taper.
Not necessarily. You can blow the tail out. If you look at some of those fish over there, this is an easy way for you to start. There's fish over there where the tail have been pulled and it's blown from the back. That's a little more difficult. So try this method first. Once you master that, then you can actually pull out the fins, you know, blowing it from the back and manipulate it in such a way. Takes a little bit more practice.
Chef, can you cut them out into the fish?
Yes, I'll show you that too. I can't show it on this fish, but I'll show you when I'm making the other thing, I'll show you the technique.